Hello and welcome to the Under Center podcast. I'm your host, of course, Dara Marr, and I am delighted to be joined by Rian Malloy. Rian, how are you, sir?
Well, I'd be doing a lot better if we had that W at the weekend. But look, we've kicked Adam Wilson off the show, so all is fair, I suppose.
I was going to complain saying, like, could you give us at least 2 minutes before we start talking about it? But you came back with the Adam rule, so I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. How is the ankle, though, more importantly?
Yeah, it's in a boot at the minute. Soft tissue injury, so they can't really tell me very much about it. Just need to wait for a few weeks, see if it heals up, and if it doesn't, I'll be going for an MRI, see if there's any ligament damage. But signs are pointing in the right direction, so we'll see. It'll be a rush to get back in the field by the Giants game in 3 weeks' time. But yeah, we'll try and make it.
Yeah, fingers crossed for sure. Anyway, if that you can, and we will talk more about the Pirates game in a little bit. I'm sure there is a few Giants here that are just begging for us to talk about that game. I'm sure we will, but we should introduce our guests for this evening, and we are delighted to be joined by two of the four members of the Talkin Balls podcast, Chrissie and Dave. Chrissie, Dave, we are delighted to have
Hello.
you on the show to return the favor because you were so gracious to have me on the show a couple of weeks ago for a game that actually never happened to look forward to. Hopefully that curse doesn't carry on for you this week. I'll keep our fingers crossed for that. But first of all, how are you doing?
Good.
So is that
Mr.
awkward?
Dave?
We like which one's gonna go first? Yeah, I'm good. I actually I lost my voice yesterday, so I sound a bit like Barry White. Hopefully it doesn't go now. I do have water beside me just in case.
You've just like sent our podcast listens through now to the thousands because now everyone knows about the big sexy voice on Dave for this show.
Yeah, that's it. Wasn't new. It's like she was sick as well. It's like Phoebe when she gets sick and she wants to get more sick because she sounds better. Yeah.
Yeah, when Neil's
just
sick, he sounds like he should be like 6'5" or something.
Yeah, big deep voice.
Although, yeah, I did see that photo. I think when you were at the media day for the Aer
Yeah.
Lingus Classic with some of the Notre Dame guys, and you says an Irish lineman versus a college running back.
Yeah, there's the picture of the three of us, and Neil's on his tiptoes.
Oh, it didn't even help that much.
No, it didn't.
But we are going to look ahead to the Jets game later on in the show as well, because you are playing your third game of the season already. This season is flying by against the Louth Mavericks at home in the Forum. Place we know well, Reen, as well, from playing it a couple of times too. It's actually a very nice pitch to play on. I like playing there. It's just a shame about the drive up. That's the only thing. It takes ages to get there. But anyway, I guess let's talk about last week. First, before we actually get into the Pirates game, Chrissie, I believe you and one of the other co-hosts, Chris, were at the Knights and Rebels game on Sunday as
Yes,
well.
the Chris's were out on day release. We got our
a very surprising result in terms of the Knights were leading at 1 point 20-8 before the Rebels came back into it and eventually ran away with the game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 20-8 at halftime. And what was really good from the Knights at the start was they were making really good rotations at the right times, getting fresh legs on. And then at halftime, from what I saw, decide now this isn't me starting anything. This is nothing insulting. I just think that the rotations were made maybe at the wrong times because it didn't seem like the freshest legs were getting on in the right places. Then it's kind of how the Rebels seem to be playing this year is a big we're going to ruin you, don't discount us kind of thing. And they went unanswered, really. And Ty Henry is a machine. my favorite part was he went in at linebacker, and someone ran at him. He tackled them, and he gets up and goes, "Run it at me again! Run it at me again!" I got
The guy's
hyped
just
up
lying on the ground like,
sideline.
no, thank you.
I was going mental, and Chris had to remind me we're technically meant to be impartial, but I just went nuts.
What was the say? Was he? I listened to the podcast last week. What was he? Was he keeping it in the fairway then yesterday? Was that what it was on Sunday?
I believe
Was that-
so.
That's what he. That's what he was calling it, keeping
Yes.
it in the fairway. That's what. But still, though, very impressive outing for the Knights, at least in the first half, and a good start to a year against probably the strongest team in the division. So hope we'll give them some sort of confidence, hopefully, for the rest of the games.
Yeah, all they need to do is replicate what they did in the first half and continue it. You know, you have that building block, so build on
it. Elsewhere, it was a lot of elsewhere. There was a lot of shutouts in the league. It wasn't just obviously the Pirates and the Giants. Surprisingly, the Razorbacks losing at home 33-0 to the Mavericks in their first game back in Division 1 after promotion last year. And obviously, the Mavericks is a team that we both know. All four of us know quite well from playing them last year, and we know the quality that they have, but we were always worried numbers-wise, and from the pictures that I've seen for sure anyway, they seem to have gotten some good numbers in the offseason.
Dave,
who wants to answer?
Yeah, is it me? I don't know if you're asking me.
Scared. They're so scared. They don't want to talk over
No,
each other.
I'm weird. I need
Well,
to
it's
have to be,
usually
like,
'cause we have,
calm
like-
down,
Or else usually Neil or Chris just start talking over us, and we're just sitting there in silence waiting.
and then I'll just like fight my way through and be like, I have a point. Like I'm literally like one step off, put my hand up, and just waiting for everyone else to shut up, and then I'll talk. But yeah, we were sort of saying on the podcast though, like this Razorbacks team is going to be a team that's going to have a late push in the year, because when we played them, like personally, when we played them, I thought they were a very similar team to what they were last year. So I kind of thought when the Mavericks were coming up against them, and the Mavericks have improved on their squad, it was going to be the Mavericks just were going to have more experience than their current group of players. And obviously there was a few, I think the Razorbacks finished without a real notable running back on the field. Sometime got ejected, Decky got injured. And was there another one? Was there someone else got injured or couldn't play? I feel like there was a third person.
Mark, the quarterback, I think, got injured.
Oh, Mark, yeah. And then so they had to play with their backup Oren. But it's one of those ones where the Razorbacks, they will come good, and that, you know, but the Mavericks team, as we all know, are a really, really organized group of players with a lot of experience. And yeah, we play them this week, and hopefully it's a bit closer than that anyway.
I'm very
we'll
glad
be
we're
rooting for you.
playing them after a match. They'll be nice and tired and sore.
Yeah.
Yes, hopefully. Hopefully they've been
Fingers
softened.
crossed. Fingers crossed. But before we move on to the Pirates game, then also we should mention in the Premier Division, the Westmeath Minotaurs made a successful start to life in the Premier Division with a whopping 38-0 win over the Craigavon Cowboys. Again, not much I've seen on this, but a good day for quarterback. It's Joe's back, isn't he? Playing quarterback for them again. He's back from his injury.
Joe Cunningham.
Yeah, he was back playing. So a great start to life in the Premier Division for them. We'll see now what happens in the next few weeks with the Cowboys. They actually play again now this coming weekend against the Trojans, which we'll have a look at in a bit. But Rain, I'm going to open the floor to you first on this one. I know you didn't get to play much in this game, unfortunately, due to the injury. But after a couple of days, your initial thoughts on the Causeway Giants 26, the North Dublin Pirates zip.
Yeah, it was 0-0 when I left the game, but then again, that was 8 plays in, so it didn't take very long for me to come out of that one. And credit to Dara for coming in and taking that on his shoulders. I think it's his first time starting as a QB in the league, which is always a tough thing to do. So yeah, he did really well there. Controlled the offense. There was just first game rustiness on our side. Realistically, I think that was what the issue was, because there wasn't a 26-point kind of deficit in skill or talent there. We showed flashes all throughout the game. It was just they had the big plays that kind of brought them down the field, whereas we were getting little chunks and dinks here and there. So I expect that to get better as the season rolls on for us. We blooded a lot of rookies at the weekend, and that was great to see them. But yeah, full credit to the Giants for bouncing back after a loss to the to Trinity. Yeah, they had a really good game. They had a game plan. They stuck to it, and yeah, they're going to cause some problems for some of the other teams in the league.
Yeah, I'd agree. On the defensive side of things, started well, like you said. I think first quarter was 0-0. Both defenses are definitely on top. The initial go-ahead score, 50-yard run. Look, our guys just didn't wrap their tackles, which was the worst possible thing. You got through the second touchdown. Reen, you're going to have to help me now with this second touchdown. What was the second touchdown again?
I have the memory of a goldfish. I have no idea. I know they had one passing touchdown.
Yes.
Which
Don't remind me
that
one.
Quite a nice pass out to the outside.
I hate that one.
Yeah.
I hate that one. Don't remind me
this close, man. This close to getting the sack. But yeah. Look,
if I hadn't have pulled my calf, I swear. Damn calf.
I think their quarterback had 3 total touchdowns on the game. So he had 2 rushing and one passing. So I think the second one was probably him again.
There was a pick 6. Second one was a pick 6.
Oh,
that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a pick 6, unfortunately for Dara. But yeah, look, they got the ball in plus territory, which gave them the short field, and obviously with a tiring defense, it sucked. Look, we can't make loads of excuses. We didn't perform to what we should on the day, so that's why we didn't win that game. If we had performed to where potentially we would have won that game, but we didn't. So we take it on the chin. We move on. Congratulations to the Giants. We will see you in a couple of weeks, and I can pretty confidently guarantee that it will not be the same scoreline. Well, maybe the away team might win 26-0 again this time. Let's see. We'll see how it goes. But that's a couple of weeks away. But let's Chrissie and Dave, let's talk about yous for a little bit. Because like I mentioned at the start, you're part of the Talkin Balls podcast. You are also part of the Antrim Jets. Actually, both sides of the ball we have here as well this evening, don't we?
Yeah.
O-line and linebacker. So we've got two good perspectives to look at it. But first of all, Chrissie, I'll start with yourself. And what got you interested in wanting to play American football in the first place?
So actually, it started off, naturally you watch it. Two of my cousins really into all of their American sports got me and my brother hooked on it. Naturally started off with all of us supporting the Patriots, kind of like your soccer team, the whole household supports one team. And then it was through my old PT. He was actually one of the coaches at the Razorbacks. And we just started chatting about football. And he's like, come on down. There's nothing that says that women can't play. And I was like, okay. Yeah. Hooked ever since. Bounced about a bit, trying to find somewhere that fits me best. I was really gutted to leave the Giants at the start of the year. They're solid lads. They're a great setup. They're a great team, but traveling there, training, and then traveling back was about 7 hours of my day on a Sunday. I was just getting too much, so ended up actually messaging the podcast page. Did I know it was Neil? No. Being like, here, what are the Jets like? And here I am.
And Chrissie, is this your first experience in team sports, or have you played other sports before this that kind of got you?
I've been playing I've been playing team sports since I was little. Like primary school was cricket. That continued on a wee bit, and then from secondary school it was hockey. Currently playing rugby at the minute. So lot of team sport. So it's good to come into that having, knowing that there's going to be things that clash. There's going to be things that work well, and it's trying to get all those personalities to work together and get a good team out there.
Absolutely.
And then coming into playing then American football, and then first thing then, like, how long did it take you to find your position as linebacker as being the one that you want to play and the one that you feel that you're best at? And then did you feel at any stage when you were first starting that I don't know, any added pressure? Sort of, I know it is a game that is catered to everybody, but maybe it's probably not advertised enough that it is actually catered to everybody. So that maybe, I know also you're obviously you're not the only I believe you're not the only girl that's on the Jets as well. So
yeah, we have Elsa on the line.
Yes. So the question is, did you find it tough then, sort of coming into that into that environment there that maybe you wasn't used to having sort of women on the team as well?
Oh, I don't care about any of that. It sounds like controversial take, but I don't give a damn. If I'm going to show up, it's not I'm showing up as I am a woman playing this sport. I am someone that likes this sport, thinks it's fun. Anyone wants to make a comment, that's all they do. But all I need to do is, if I step on that pitch, I'm not a female player, I'm a player. And a lot of teams have actually been really good with that. You get the awkward initial bit of, I don't want to hit a girl. And then whenever you hit them, they're like, oh, shit, that was hard. It's kind of like that. As to me, like finding like the natural position with linebacker, I actually started on D-line, and I kind of said I wanted to be linebacker first at the Razorbacks, and then was put on the D-line because that's where numbers were needed at the time. And then I lost weight and couldn't get through the line, and then I was like, I'm going to move back and start like hitting things, because it's natural progression for me from rugby. I play prop, so I'm big and I get hit. That is linebacker. So everything at the minute, translates, which is really good, because like I'll be doing rugby preseason and have the guts of a rugby season done by the time American football preseason starts, and I'm already primed in fitness and contact. So all engines going.
Excellent. And Dave, we'll flip it over to you then. Sort of similar question to before with Chrissie. How was it that you got involved in American football, and how did you first hear about teams in the area and wanting to play?
Yeah, so I've watched American football since like 2011 or so. Packers, Steelers win the Super Bowl. Brothers supported Packers, so I'm like, I'm going Steelers. So followed them since then. But then it wasn't until like 2021. We were all like sort of working from home, and a guy I was working with, who's currently on the Razorbacks, Matthew Graham, he was like, there's a team in Antrim, if you want to come down, because I lived like 15 minutes away from the pitch. I was like, I did not know there was American football in Ireland to begin with. Head down, everyone was really accommodating. Scott, the quarterback, came over and goes, you guys new? I'm like, yeah, welcome, have a look, and then come back next week for training. We're like, sweet. And ever since then, I just fell in love with it. It was like the first game was against the Vipers, and I always forget the name of it. It's like the Donaghy Invitational Cup. It was like a wee friendly tournament because it was still COVID years. And just like being on the sideline and watching just just to all go. Even watching Scott throw a pass, I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever been a part of, and it's just grown from there. And like, yeah, I love it. Like, I'm totally absorbed in it. Like doing the podcasts and like Neil asking, "Do you want to go on their podcast?" Yeah, like I want to know everything about it. Like it's fantastic. It's a really class league.
So have you always been an offensive lineman, or have you bounced around a bit?
That first friendly league or friendly thing, like I was just bouncing about. I was actually on D-line against the Razorbacks, and I did a couple of snaps, and the coach was like, "Get off, just get off. You don't know what you're doing." And I was like, "Fair enough." And then from that point on, they sort of just started training me as an O-lineman because I'm big and not very athletic, and that's kind of what happens. You get put on the O-line, but it's a position that I wouldn't change either. But I passed to the coaches saying, "Oh, I want to learn how to catch a ball. I want to learn how to throw a ball. I want to learn how to kick. I want to learn how to be a good defensive player." So I try to obtain as much knowledge in every position as I can.
Yeah, and this is sort of a trenches question because obviously playing on the D line, you get that satisfaction for, making a good tackle or getting a decent sack. On the O line, it's kind of a thankless job at times. You're the forgotten five guys unless you've done something wrong. Where'd you get the sort of satisfaction? Did you get it when you get the pancake a defender and you see him on the ground and know that was you that did that, or when you see a successful play that goes for a chunk of yardage or a touchdown? Like, what is the best times to be a lineman?
There's loads. As long as it's a positive play, like that's good. When it's a negative play, like you say, if the quarterback gets sacked or the running back gets tackled behind the line and he fumbles the ball, everyone's looking at the line saying, "What are you doing?" But like, one thing I love most is when a blitzing linebacker comes through. Oh, and then you take that hit. That's amazing. Like, and you just want to throw them on the ground. You want to take your helmet off and be like, "Yeah," but then you look like a loser if you celebrate something like that. Like, you're just doing your job. It's a quote Roy Keane about goalkeepers. But like, I don't know. When you see your quarterback throwing for 30 yards, you're thinking lethal. But the big thrills on a personal level is stopping your guy from getting through, stopping that blitzing linebacker, or opening the hole for your running back. Like, when you've done your job right, that's the biggest thrill for sure.
Yeah, I found as well, Dara, that most offensive linemen are pretty happy with the fact that they have an IQ over 60 as opposed to defensive linemen who are just dumbasses.
I wouldn't say that.
All you have to tell me is you see ball, go after ball. That's all I need to say. That's all we need to go after ball. I want to ask, and Chrissie, I'll start with you first, and then Dave. Who is the toughest opponent you have faced so far in, well, obviously not just this season, but overall, sort of in your American football careers? Team or player, it doesn't have to be that specific.
Well, I would have to say UCD. Now, I didn't get to play that game because I was coming back from fractured ribs from rugby last year when I was with the Knights. But seeing how the speed of UCD, and it's insane. Like, they won the Shamrock Bowl for a reason, and like to see that at the sideline is intimidating enough. Never mind being on the pitch and having one of those people run at you. I think they are for me, UCD.
David?
Yeah. So I've only really got like 6 teams to pick from.
It's okay if you want to say Daramar off the North Dublin Pirates. Fine. I won't get too big headed over it. It's fine.
Do you know, like, to throw a compliment to our most recent opponents, probably the Vipers. They are a group of big guys who want to hurt, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, they want to injure people, but I mean like in a sporting way. They want to hurt. and they were super aggressive and probably the most aggressive linebacker and defensive line core that I've ever come up against personally. So yeah, I'd probably go Vipers. I don't have any of their names, but if they're watching, they know who they are, and delighted that I said that.
Yeah, Reen, I've actually never asked you that before.
Yeah, no, the toughest team I've ever come up against is the North Dublin Pirates defense in training every week. It's so difficult.
Oh, boo!
I didn't know that was I didn't know we could answer like that.
Boo! Politics answer.
No, look, year one, what I started playing like 6 years ago, inaugural season with the Pirates, and I'd have to agree with David. They had some serious players down there at the Vipers. Back when I was playing, I actually started out at tight end, and I was on this really mean outside linebacker all day, and it was just a battle from start to finish, right? But it was brilliant, great fun all day long. So yeah, they're probably the toughest team I've played against.
Say for me, going up against one of the guards that plays for the Mavericks last year. He was actually
They've got some big boys, all right.
He wasn't even big. He was actually around my height. But he was like so stocky, and he obviously has a rugby background because you couldn't move him. He knew exactly where his center of gravity was, and he used it so well. I can't I don't know names exactly, but he probably knows who he is because he came up against me, and we actually had a brief chat after the game because it sucked, and I hated every second of it because I couldn't no matter what I tried, I just couldn't get by him. A few run plays I could because obviously he tries to go forward to the next level, and I got by him. But then the center just goes and just creams you, which doesn't really help. So that's great. But that just shows how good their offensive line was last year, and probably this year if they beat because of their result. The game this week, the Jets at home in the Antrim Forum against those same Mavericks. Tough start to the season, 0-2. Two very close games that could have gone either way for you guys if had a bit of luck. But Dave, I guess I'll start with you first on this one. Sorry, what are your general thoughts heading into this game, and sort of what are the things that you think that you're going to have to do on the day to sort of come out with the win, especially after the Mavericks' big win last week?
To go for a political answer. If everyone does their job right, we should come out on top. But like we said,
to that as well. I'm booing you on this. This is not an affiliated podcast. You can say whatever you want.
But Donald watches these things. Like if I say anything, he'll be like, "Why did you say that on that?" People watch that show. But like the Mavericks
watches the show. It's fine.
No,
we all watch it. Everyone watches these things. The Mavericks, like I said before, are an experienced outfit. A lot of players have been there for years, and they're getting rookies through that. I think the rookies had a really great game against the Razorbacks. There was a glaring problem against the Vipers. I think if we can sort that out, we should stand a good chance because our defense, to be honest, is one of the best in that league. I'll go out on them and say it's at least top 3. So if we can sort out a couple of problems on offense, you should start seeing a record go a wee bit better than what it is. But the only way is up with the record. So
yeah. Well, Chrissie, as one of those main anchors of
as one of the defenders.
Incredible defenders. What are you looking out for this week? I know, obviously, Darren Mulville is one of their main guys in the tight end position. I think is it Brendan Sims? I keep forgetting the first name, but I know it's Sims is the running back, and he had a great game last week as well. So they can throw the ball, they can run the ball. Obviously, I've mentioned they have a great O-line as well. So there's definitely plenty of things to sort of keep your eye out for this week.
Yeah, definitely. I remember playing against the Mavericks last year for the Giants, and on some run plays up the middles, their center somehow got to me multiple times and just ran me over like I wasn't there. So I'll be watching for that. Definitely for that. Um, I think the big thing is that this will be their second game back to back. Even if you win a match, you're still coming away with bumps and bruises, and that we can use that to our advantage. We're also coming away with bumps and bruises. We have people injured, we have people out. One of our DBs fractured his cheek in rugby, so he's out. You're looking at that. Like Dave was saying, if everyone does their job, we should be coming away with good performances. And even though they did play last week, I think it will be tight. But if we can get just things rolling a bit quicker and maybe adapt a wee bit, we can show what we can do.
Totally. 100%. And like that now, if my memory serves me right, and I don't have the fixture list up here, but you guys do have a bit of a break afterwards as well. So I guess it'd be very important to get a decent result in this game so that you can go into your break. I have it quickly up here. The next game is the 23rd of April, actually. Yeah, so it'll be 3 weeks before you are at home to the Crusaders.
No, we have a game the week before.
Do you?
The Rhinos.
The Rhinos, really?
Well, that's what it says on the website.
Checking Instagram.
You do. You're right. Sorry. Yep, you do. I was looking at, because there's actually Saturday games on that week as well. I was looking at the Saturday instead of the Sunday. You were up in Dublin for the Rhinos game. Oh, I might have to go and see that. No, making plans already. But like that, yeah, it is a kind of a brutal schedule because Division 1 is so competitive this year that it's kind of, you don't get that sort of game where not that you sit back, but it's not that sort of game where you're not in a battle, as much of a battle as you would be in other weeks. All these teams are so evenly matched that it is a thing that you have to be on the game 100% each week. And I guess that's how have you found life in Division 1 so far this year? I know Razorbacks, you played them last year, but obviously the well-established changes that they've gone through. But I guess the Vipers was that first game against a proper Division 1 opponent. And do you notice the step up in quality from divisions?
I definitely do. I've been lucky enough to see the quality in all of the divisions, and the Vipers showed what the Division 1 standard is for a team. And every team will have growing pains whenever they move up a division. It's natural. But it's how we address any adversary we come across. It's how we rally together as a team to really show that, yes, we're moving up. Yes, there's been personnel losses, but this is what we still bring to the table as this team. And as long as we can go out on the pitch every game and say we played our ass off, we can be proud of that, regardless of the score. If you empty the tank and can come across and say, regardless of that, that was good. That showed what Antrim Jets football is. That's all you can really ask for.
Yeah, that's the Razorbacks game, like I said, didn't feel like any different than it did the year before in Division 2, in my opinion. But the Razorbacks are a brand new team almost, so that's not overly surprising. But against the Vipers, your established team in Division 1, there is a big jump. And last week, after the Vipers game, I think I was in shock or something, but I just stood about and cleaned the pitch for a good hour, 2 hours after the game. I was just kind of in a trance and kept walking around people and saying, "What? I don't really know what happened, like, or what or what has hit me, but it's a big, what's the word? What's the crash down to gravity? No, what's the phrase? Down to earth.
You are
being brought down.
I know it.
Brought down to earth.
Brought down to
There
earth.
you go.
It was a big bring down to earth, and we need to be up for every remaining fixture.
That quickly turned
Absolutely.
into an episode of Catchphrase. Say what you see. Say what you see.
Best show
I
ever.
can't see the earth coming down. What?
And in terms of your upcoming fixtures, you obviously have some games versus some perennial Division 1 teams. And I'm going to open this question up to the two of you. What one team from that kind of perennial group are you looking at to kind of make a marquee win statement against, that you can really go, if we succeed in that game, our season has been a success? Do you have any team in mind for that marquee win?
Do you want to go first, Chrissy?
I would go Vipers again, because yes, it would be awesome to win against them, but even if we had a game that was close, that to me would be like, okay, we did that. That shows what we can do, kind of thing. It's like you said, they've been in Division 1 for quite a time. And like, this was my first season ever playing against them, and I was like, holy shit. And I think it's just they're consistent. I think if we can handle them next time, if we play against them again, we do. They're our last game of the season. If we can handle them, I think that'll put a mark on it for us.
Yeah, I think when you look at Division 1, if you beat any of them, it's a big deal. But if there's one team that like would be a dream victory or even get close to them, like if we can do, I don't want to sound stupid. I don't know if I misunderstand the question, but like the Vikings are the best team in Division 1. If we can have a competitive game with them, then it builds the confidence for everyone else. I think we play them quite late in the season, but it's one of those things. If we get any kind of result against them, then we know, right, okay, we belong here. And like Chrissy was saying, even if it's a one-score game or something, it's a big confidence booster considering our first two losses. But beating anybody in that division, especially the Rhinos and then the Crusaders, if we can get anything out of those two games, would be massive. Week after week. Oh my god, my speaking is horrible.
You're all good. I think we all understood. I know what you mean, though, Dave. You're all good. Perfect. Well, look, listen. Before we let you go, I want to actually get your predictions for Week 5. And yours, Reen, as well. No, I'll be paying attention to your podcast this week, so you better give me the same predictions, or else we'll be calling. We'll be calling out.
I'm gonna purposefully go for the other ones.
I'm gonna write them down on my phone so I remember who I say.
So, Dave, if you just confirm that you're going for the Mavs on this one now, when I ask you if you're going for the opposite,
We did get called the jinx of the Jets, because every time we say the Jets will win,
yeah,
it hasn't gone that
well. Look, they'll be upset if you don't pick the Jets.
I know.
Right.
Donal will send a message straight away.
All right, let's start in the Premier Division. And let's start with the Cork Admirals going up against UCD. The Admirals are 1-0 after beating the Panthers in Santry a couple of weeks ago. UCD are 1-1 after beating the Trojans. Was it last week? It was last week. And then obviously the opening weekend loss against the Rebels. I will go with the guests first. I will start with Chrissie. Who have you got this week between the Admirals and UCD?
UCD after that Rebels game are coming back with a big fuck you attitude, and they're just going to go through everyone.
Dave?
I think this is actually a really interesting game, and I don't know if my weird sports psychology side. I'm going to go for Cork. I have a weird feeling about it, so Cork.
Yeah, I mean, for me also, as good as UCD are, Cork seem to have an excellent air attack going at the moment. So they're going to put points on the board. It's going to be a shootout. It's not going to be like a blow-away victory for UCD. I still probably see them coming out on top. But yeah, I'm thinking one-score game, maybe 3 points in it.
Yeah, this is nearly pick 'em for me. After seeing Cork in person as well, you know, even though it was first day sort of rustiness and they were obviously coming up against a depleted Panther side, they still were able to, you know, run the ball and throw the ball very well. The defense played quite well too, especially against such a good quarterback in Finn Cairns. But UCD are not Shamrock Bowl champions for nothing. I think you've got to go UCD because you know they have the history of it. But I wouldn't be surprised to see an Admirals win, especially because it's down there in Cork. But will be remain to be seen. The two 0-1 sides, Craigavon Cowboys and Belfast Trojans. Both sides took really disappointing losses in their first games. Dave, I'll go with you first on this one. Who have you got between the Cowboys and the Trojans?
Yeah, I think people were quite shocked at how bad the Cowboys got beat against the Minotaurs. I think most people had the Minotaurs to win, but maybe not by as much as they actually did in the end. I think the Trojans will just have a bit too much for the Cowboys, so I'm going to go Trojans.
Chrissie?
I'm going to go Trojans as well. You know, the first game, you know, they didn't have some key players, and I think now that they've got that first game jitters out, you know, everyone's got that game experience now for the season. I think they'll have been able to adapt, and I think it'll be a 2-score game in favor of the Trojans.
Yeah, for me, I think, you know, both teams took a drubbing in their first game of the season, but the Craigavon Cowboys one kind of makes a little bit more of a statement than the Trojans. The Trojans lost against one of the best teams in the league, or in the country even. So yeah, I'm taking the Trojans, and I'm going to say it's probably going to be a 3 or 4 score game, to be honest.
Right. I had the Trojans down as a possible dark horse for the Shamrock Bowl this year to face the Rebels. So they need to win this game if they want to, you know, get their season started and actually just do something. So I'm going to go with the Trojans on this game. Like you said, Chrissy, they missed players last week, or the last game. Sorry, it wasn't last week, the last game. So they should have them hopefully back. And maybe in a bit more familiar territory, like closer to home, it might be better for them as well. Because it was weird. Last season they were 0-4 away from home and 4-0 at home.
Yeah,
which is mental. So maybe home comforts is what they need, and this is as close to home probably as they're going to get until they play. I think they do play the Knights this year. I have to check their fixture list, but I'm pretty sure they play the Knights at some stage.
I assume they would.
Yeah. Division 1. Let's go with your Antrim Jets and Mavs. Reen, I'm going to go with you first on this one before we let our two guests give their totally unbiased predictions on who they think will win this game.
No, I'm going Jets 45-0.
Yeah.
Nice, conservative.
Chrissie Dave, should I ask?
You should know. You
I
should
should know. I should know.
We spent the last 20 minutes line for the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get you in trouble. I'm not going to get you in trouble on this show. Right. The Mavs are my dark horse to win this. Obviously, I have two of my new favorite guests now on the show as well. The Jets.
He's just setting you up to let you down.
Yeah, I know. We know.
I'm telling Chris and Neil this tomorrow. We are your favorite guests.
I'm building you up to Dave, bring you back down to earth here.
Hopefully we don't see that happening.
No, look, I think home advantage is something that is going to help. I know the Mavs did travel up north for the game last week, but I'm sure they're not keen on doing another one so quickly after playing the Razorbacks. And look, I'm sure that they would have been in a tough game no matter what the score. They are still getting their season started. You have had a couple of weeks to sort of right any wrongs that you've needed to, and I think that you will. So I'm going to go for a Jets win. Close, maybe 3 points, maybe less in it, but I think I'm going to go with the Jets to sneak it out here with a win. Now, let's move on to the Razorbacks at home to the Dublin Rhinos. The Razorbacks 1-1. After, of course, unfortunately beating the Jets in game week 1, losing last week to the Mavs. The Rhinos lost in week 1 to the Vikings, and they are traveling again for their second game of the season. Chrissie, I'll start with you on this one. The Razorbacks and the Rhinos, who have you got?
I'd have to go Rhinos because they're former SBC. Yes, obviously they came down, but they still had the players and clearly the standard to be SBC last year. So I'm going to go Rhinos.
Dave?
Yeah, I'm just kind of confused because that fixture wasn't on the website. So I was like, it's going to be Vipers.
Don't go by the website.
I know, but
website. It's an awful website.
It's my information.
It's an awful website.
Have that as a fixture. So I was getting Viper ready and Limerick ready. But anyway, I think it's the same story as last week. It's a game that's just come a wee bit too early for the Razorbacks, Rhinos former SBC team. So yeah, I would have to go Rhinos for this one.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat as both Chrissie and Dave. Like the Razorbacks are going to get better as the season goes on. We know that they have a lot of talent in their team, but they are still gelling as a unit. And the Rhinos have a lot of talent over there as well, right? So if I don't know who is actually there at the minute, but if they have the same quarterback that they started the season with last season, he's a really electric runner of the football, and he can pass the ball too. So yeah, I can't see the Rhinos losing this game. I'd say it'll probably be close. I'd say maybe a score in the difference, but yeah, I see the Rhinos taking this one.
Can I ask, actually, before I give my prediction, you mentioned that Suntan was ejected. Does that mean he's going to miss part of this game now on Sunday?
I think it depends on when in the game he was ejected, because I think it's if you're ejected in the first half, it doesn't affect the next game. If you're ejected in the second half, I think you have to miss the first half of the next game. Mm-hmm. I haven't heard when he got ejected, so I am not 100% sure if it affects him or not.
Right, okay. Because that means he's gone from the sideline entirely for the first half, so he can't even coach. He has to stay in his dressing room. So that would be important as well. From speaking to offensive coordinator Steve O'Rourke from the Rhinos, he mentioned to me that their game against the Vikings, although it was only one score in it, it was due to mistakes on special teams. Why he believes the Vikings won that game, so they were definitely in it till the very end. I'm gonna go, the Razorbacks are going to kill us for this, but I think it's going to be a clean sweep on this one. I think I'm going to go for the Rhinos too. Like you mentioned, they are the team coming down from the Premier Division. They want to go straight back up. They lost their first game, and if they want to make it into the playoffs and get a home field advantage and get that second seed, or if they still want to obviously go for the first seed, that they're going to have to win this game. So I think I fancy them to do that. So I will go with a Rhinos win. And the last game in Division 1 is the Vipers at home to the Vikings. The Vipers 1-1. The Vikings 1-0. I will go with Dave on this one first because you were so ready last time for this game. So tell us your prediction. Who have you got between the Vikings and the Vipers?
Yeah. I'm so sorry, but we're AFI affiliated, so I have to use the official website, and it let me down.
But we're not tonight. This is not our show.
Oh, we always wear the badge. We always wear the badge, even on the streets. You know that we have to wear the badge. But no, the Vipers are a great outfit, great aggressive outfit. So the Vikings are not going to get an easy game by any means. But I think like the Vikings would be my favorite to go up. I think that they're a quality outfit, really unlucky in the bowl last year. So I think the Vikings just have a bit too much quality for them.
Chrissie?
I think the Vikings as well, mainly because of the numbers of the Vipers whenever they came to us. I think there was about 20. And yes, the Viking. It's Vipers' home, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Vikings are having to travel up to them. So I think there's gonna be some tired legs, some tired bodies, but I think the Vikings are just gonna edge it out.
Yeah, we might be building towards another clean sweep here because I'm going to go with the Vikings as well. Both teams are very well coached, but I think just the level of talent that they have over there at UL at the minute is very, very good. They're probably at an SBC level already, if not just a little bit below, and I think they can build on that. So, yeah, I'm going with the Vikings on this one.
Okay. Well, it's actually not a clean sweep, because I'm actually going to go with the Vipers on this game. Mostly because one of the big factors, Chrissy, you mentioned it, is the travel on that day for the Vikings to go up to Donegal and face them. The Vipers, if it is 20, it's 20 strong, good lads that they have. Yeah. They may have more because it's home field advantage as well. Yeah, first road trip for the Vikings this year as well. I still think the Vikings are going to make it all the way to the bowl game, but I'm going to believe they're going to lose somewhere, and I think this could be the game that they do. It's probably one of, if not their longest trip of the season. Do you guys play them at home this year or away?
We play them away.
Away. Yeah, so it is probably their longest trip of the season then, for sure. So I'm going to go Vipers to win this game and go 2-1. The last game of the week is Division 2. The Wexford Eagles are finally 5 weeks into the season, starting their campaign after the stupidness of not having an ambulance in Santry a couple of weeks ago for the Pirates game against Trinity, who are 1-0, who went up north and beating. See, I can say that because it wasn't their fault. It's fine. It wasn't their fault. Going up against Trinity, who are 1-0, of course, after beating the Causeway Giants up in Causeway a couple of weeks ago. Rian, you're going to be my first port of call. Who are you going for this week?
Yeah, I was surprised with the results that Trinity got against Causeway there in their first game. I mean, I'm not dissing on the Trinity guys. They're a great bunch of lads, and they do have talent there. Some American imports who are really helping them out. But yeah, I was surprised because they had such low numbers when we went down there and trained with them. So I was thinking that they were going to show up with 16 or 17 guys, but they seem to rally a team together. So they are going to be in this game. But we saw that Wexford team come down to us, or come up to us even, for that first game that never was, and they have numbers. So I think it's going to be a struggle for Trinity to just keep up, just in terms of the slog fest that it is going to be. So I see the Eagles squeaking this one. Now, the only thing is that Trinity have a game under their belt, and we know that first game rust is a factor in every game. So it's going to be very, very close, but I can see the Eagles building into this one and getting a win at the end of it.
Okay. Chrissy, Eagles, Trinity, who have you got?
I'm going to go Trinity, mainly because they are the unofficial team of the Talkin Balls podcast, because we think they're really fun. But like Ryan was saying, it's they have a game under their belt. So they've been able to work on what gave them issues in a game situation, as opposed to just repping stuff out in training when you don't have that pressure of a match. So I think Trinity will take it. I can see it being a one-score game. It's like Ryan said, they have the numbers. They'll have the fresh legs to keep going on. But I just think Trinity has the game experience to just edge it out.
Yeah, Trinity. Yeah, they're the cool guys of I think the entire league. Talking about all divisions, I think they're the cool young kids on the block. But I'll be honest, I know absolutely nothing about the Eagles. But with Trinity, because the first time I seen their wee promo videos, first thing I said was there's not a lot of those guys, if that's their whole squad. But they came out and they seemed to play a really classic performance against the Giants. So I have a wee bit of belief in them. So I'll go with Trinity in this one.
Cool. Yeah, I'm struggling to pick for this game myself as well, because like Ryan mentioned, when we saw Wexford come down on that for that game a couple of weeks ago, the numbers were definitely something to take notice of. They obviously, with Coach Klatt going back as well, he's going to instill a very regimented team. Trinity, yeah, like you mentioned, they got about, I think, 20-21 up there for the Giants. If it's a similar number against Wexford, I feel that could be too much for them. I think that one thing that they had against the Giants that I don't think the Giants would have been prepared for would be in the elements of surprise, because no one really knew what was going on. And I think that's going to be the same for the Eagles this week, because nobody knows what's going on with the Eagles. We know they have numbers now only because they showed up. We wouldn't have known otherwise. So I'm going to go with the Eagles because they have home advantage to take this one and to go 1-0. And that is our predictions. That is our show wrapped up for this edition. Before we go, though, Chrissy or Dave, I'll let one of you go. First of all, tell us a little bit about the podcast for people who haven't listened to it yet, and give out to them for why they haven't listened to it yet. And where can they find your socials and your show if they want to check it out?
Dave, take it away.
Yeah, so it's called the Talkin Balls Podcast. Talkin spelled without a G. It matters apparently when you're looking it up. Leave the G out; it'll come up right away. So it's an idea that me, Neil, and Chris had one night singing karaoke, very drunk. Neil came up and said we should do a podcast, and we agreed. And that was in September, and we're still going, and it's really enjoyable. And then at Super Bowl night, we recruited Chrissy. Wrong way, Chrissy. And basically, she's instilled knowledge into our nonsense, essentially. She has her own nonsense and controversies, but
Oh,
we'll
I
not get into
have.
that. Yeah. There's too many to go over. But you can find us pretty much anywhere: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and then wherever you watch your podcasts. You know, that silly phrase every podcast says, like, oh, Apple, whatever. But it's the Talkin Balls Podcast without the G.
Excellent stuff. And well said as well. And you must have the script. Did you just beside you? Because you knew I was going to ask that question about. I need all my socials in a ducks in a row here. I need to know exactly where you need to find them. But well said. Listen, it's been great having you two on. Really appreciate you taking the time to speak to us. Wish you all the luck for Sunday as well. Hopefully you do get that win. And for sure, it won't be the last time we'll be chatting on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
We're going to be like next door neighbors. We'll be popping over every now and again.
I think we should just take over each other's show one week. Just invade.
Yeah. Like WWF and WCW.
I can't deal with those restrictions being affiliated. I can't do that. No. Can't do that. No. I want to talk shit. That's what I want to do. I'm gonna want to talk shit. I want to be able to criticize the team if I want to, and then obviously have it come back in my face. But listen, that's what
you want to talk balls.
Like that's you just walk off. Go on. Go on. I'll drop you out. I'll drop you out here. Look, there he's dropping out. He's gone. Whatever. But anyway, listen, oh, he's back. Welcome back. Listen, we are going to end it here. Before we go, if you haven't already, follow us on our own socials at UnderCenterPod on Twitter and Instagram. That's where we're most active. We are on Facebook too, but kind of forget about that. Same thing, YouTube, Undercenter Podcast. Follow us there. Same thing with the spelling. Do or before E in center. Don't do the American spelling because it will take you to some Chicago Bears podcast. And look, listen, no one wants to hear talking about Chicago Bears all the time. There's already enough podcasts for that. Listen,
could be worse. We get prostate ones if you type in Talkin Balls. Like, Chrissy looks shocked, but like if you try to find it, it's people like it's like a charity about prostate cancer. So you're in the wrong place.
Wow. But listen, on that note, I am completely lost my train of thought, so I'm going to end the show there. Like I said, Undercenter Podcast on YouTube. Subscribe to it if you're watching us right now. Like this video and subscribe, like I mentioned. Also, comment below. Let us know your predictions for the games this week. Who do you think have gotten their predictions correct as well? And yeah, like I said, let us know who you think is going to win. Rian, as always, thank you, sir.
It's been a pleasure.
And we'll be back next week with another show looking at week 5 games of the AFI season. But until next time, stay safe and we'll see you soon.